How to fix a bad elastic repair in your GroVia Hybrid Shell. Directed by Amanda of handmadebyamanda.com. Here's what you'll need to repair your GroVia shell. An 1/8 inch elastic, braided or slightly larger, 2 large safety pins, 2 small safety pins, scissors, top thread that matches the shell color, white bottom bobbin thread, a seam ripper, an alligator clip or similar clip, and measuring tape. Let's get started. Okay, it's time to remove the thread on the top portion of the GroVia diaper shell. I like to start at the 3rd snap and work my way in and go all the way over to the 3rd snap on the other side. So just start with your seam ripper and start removing thread. Just get your seam ripper underneath every other loop or so and remove those threads on the front side. And be gentle, you don't want to poke a hole in the fabric, just getting just under the thread. And also take off a few on the back side. Let's see. That. And they slowly start to loosen up after you take some off the back as well. I'm going to put it on pause and keep working on this, and I'll show you when I get a little further along. Okay, I've got an opening now. I like to have just enough room to get my hand through. I know everyone's hands are a little different in size, but for me that means I have 2, 4, 5, roughly 5 snaps that my hand, width-wise, that my hand is going through. So once I get my hand through, I'm going to turn it inside out. Okay, so got my hole and I've turned it inside out. And this is a good opportunity to take a look at the condition of the pull. And this is the first time that I've opened this diaper. Pretty shocked that this diaper's got some pretty severe cracking in the pull. So for me, at this point, I'm not going to replace any elastics. I'm just going to close this one back up. But that's pretty easy as far as opening the top. Got the top of this diaper open. I flipped it to inspect the pull, and it looks like it has excellent condition pull. So I'm going to continue on with the elastic replacement. Sometimes when you buy a used diaper, someone's going to have repaired the elastics and maybe used a different technique. In this case, the person opened the outside seam and repaired the elastic from there. What I would like to do with this is take out those threads and that exterior, see if I can get this to focus, seam that they've added, and then I'm going to fix it from the inside. Here we go. So these threads up here, let me get my seam ripper to point. So these threads up here, right along this edge, I'm going to remove, since that seam is not supposed to be there. And then I'm going to remove the 90-degree angle, and then these threads here. And then when I turn it from the inside, I'm going to show you what we're going to do to repair that seam. Okay, I've opened it up, and I can see that this is brand new elastic that they've replaced it with. They just ran into some difficulties when they were trying to close up the hole, and in turn, you know, it's compromised the original design of the diaper. So what I'm going to do, I don't want to lose this elastic back down in the casing. I don't want it to slip back down. It's in the correct place that I need it to be. So I'm going to take a large safety pin and pin it at the top here. And close the hole. Close the safety pin. And then I'm going to finish removing these last few stitches right here on the elastic to free the elastic from the diaper. Here we go. Because now that I've got it open, I see the problem isn't the new elastic. It's just that I need to fix the construction of that exterior seam that I was showing you that was added. Okay, we've got that out, so let's take a look. And it also looks like maybe the elastic wasn't tacked down as high as it should have been. Where is the rest of that seam? Let me pause so I can find it. Okay, so let me show you what you're looking for. You're looking for the point where this fabric meets the tab fabric, which is right there. You see that? This area, right? And then we're looking for where the repair was made. And in this case, it's pretty easy to see because if you look, here's the original stitching right here, and then see how this is bunched up and you don't see the original stitching. So we know right here is the area that it was opened up and repaired. So we need to go in, you can see it from this side too, and remove those stitches. I've removed all the stitches that held together that exterior seam that was added. And just to show you, before I turned it, I had to work on removing the stitches from the inside and the outside, but before I turned it, I made sure to pin that new elastic to an exterior part outside of the seam allowance, or in the seam allowance, I guess I should say. A seam allowance just means that that's the amount of extra fabric needed outside of the seam. I pinned it there. That way there wasn't any hole being added into, the interior part of the diaper where we need it to not leak. Sorry, I'm having trouble saying what I need to say. Okay, so we've got this hole made. What I'm going to do is bring it over to the sewing machine and make, I'm going to undo this while I'm sewing. And let that hang. It's not going to fall back down in there because we've got this big clip. Alright, so I opened that up where that additional exterior seam was made. And I'm going to sew this back together with a straight stitch along the original line, which was somewhere right in there. And I'm going to bring that over to the machine now. The machine settings are at 0-1, which is my straight stitch with a stretch needle, and I'm leaving the stitch length and stitch width at the defaults. I do not want to make a short stitch. That's not necessary, and it only makes it more difficult to remove later on. Okay. I'm not going to use any pins or anything, I'm just going to hold it. I've got the blue thread loaded in the top and the white thread loaded in the bottom, which means I need to have the blue going up. Okay. presser foot. Rotate the wheel. Lock the stitches. Okay. Forward a few stitches. Go back. Back a few stitches. Alright, now go back forward. Making sure I'm following the original line. Okay, go back. Back forward. And check to be sure that it's fully closed. That doesn't. Let's go forward a few more to make sure it's closed. There's no opening anymore. Back to lock those stitches and come back forward. Okay, release your presser foot. My machine stops with the needle down, so I have to roll it up. And then take a look. Let's see. Okay, we've got our new seam. Looks like it's all caught on that side. And looks like we got a little bit bunched up on this side, but I think we're going to be okay. Trim this. Let's rotate it back. And see what it's going to look like. I'm now ready to re-sew the casing, which means that 90-degree angle and the line down to wherever it was missing. In this case, right here. Since this is a lighter color, you can see through where the elastic is here and where the original seam was. And you can see how when we pull it straight, the elastic moves to the outside. So it's crucial when we're sewing that we are stretching the elastic to make sure it's moving to the outside edge. We do not want to catch the elastic because that's what's going to prevent it from moving freely through the casing. All right, I'm going to rotate my needle a couple times to get it locked. Okay. I'm going to sew the 90-degree angle now. Before I start that, I did miss a little bit of the seam up here that I needed to take out. So let's sew that first. All right, pulling straight. This is the seam up above the 90-degree angle that I had to take out for this particular diaper. Okay. Getting to that 90-degree angle, so I'm going to rotate. Do not pull until your presser foot has been put back down, or else you will break the needle. So now I can pull. And the 90-degree angle. Coming towards me. Looks like we're at the right spot. One more stitch. Okay. Let's see where we are. Go for the back side so I won't block the camera. Rotate. Okay, don't pull yet until you release the presser foot back down. Okay, now you can pull. Put my right hand down here, left hand in the back. Now I'm going to follow along the original line. And you can feel with your hand that the elastic is in fact all the way to the edge, and that's where we want it to be. Okay, here we go.
Here's the repaired diaper shell. Back working the way that it should. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe so you can learn about new videos as they're posted.